Hey folks, Kozzi here, drafting for pick 1 pack 1 with this. I feel as though it's okay. Praxis midrange build. Not a usual archetype that you'll get. This was more informed by what I was able to open up early in pack 1 and then switching over from opening up a very strong card in pack 2 in Steelbound Dragon. Overall though, the plan is still quite similar to what you'll get with a lot of the aggressive decks. We're hoping to curve out early, removal, but we have a small theme here of power 5 or more matters. We have the Dawnwalker that will come back, and if we can manage to get the Predator's Instinct onto him, I think we'll be very happy. We have the Sauropod Wrangler here, which will hopefully make our creatures with a power of 5 or more cheap enough for us to afford, of which we already have the Steelbound Dragon and a pair of Towering Terrazons. And then to try and help out, we have a little bit of early Warcry, and we also have Ancient Lore, so that hopefully some of our 4-power creatures might be able to get into the game and help us out in that regard, as well as unlock potential. I'm not sure how effective it will be, to be honest. That's the theory, but I look forward to finding out. So hopefully we'll get a match up soon, and we'll be able to see how this Praxis deck plays out in action. This hand is fine. It'll curve out well for us. Ideally, I would have preferred to have a slightly more powerful creature along with Predator's Instinct, but that's something that we hope to draw into, and being able to go first will really help us out here. So I think I'll be playing my Pyrodept first, unless I suspect him playing 1 strength creatures. Try and get in the extra little point of damage, and save this for later on once we know we can get some value out of it. The fire does make me a little bit nervous, although if he would have had the token generators, I think he would have played it straight away. There's a pause here which makes me think that he has a trick of some description. It's probably a torch. So I need to keep that in mind going forward about whether I want to overcommit with my Ornate Katana. It's a very aggressive use of the torch. I'm not sure quite what it represents. Perhaps he has a weak hand and is just too worried about taking 3 a turn. Either that, or perhaps he has expensive cards and only had the 2 fire sigils. I can't remember if I saw him mulligan at the start of the game or not. So I think I do want to play my Ornate Katana here, start the clock whilst he's looking to be missing a colour, and give myself another chance of drawing a sigil so that I can start to use these cards. If I hadn't have done it, this would have been my next draw phase, of just being stuck with another 2-2 and wondering whether I should have used my Ornate Katana. So even though I didn't draw what I wanted in that example, I'm still glad I did it, because it saved me one more draw step. Does he have another torch? It's one of those tricky things, is the fact that in any of these card games, Screw and Flood is an inevitable part. In this scenario, I'm just happy to be the one who has the board. But if he's only able to play 1 creature a turn for the next 2 turns, then these cards are going to play quite a big role for me. And unlike most aggro decks I play, I've actually got some card advantage, which is quite nice. I'll attack before showing the sigil, see if we can flush this torch out, and then I can play my Guardian without worrying too much. I'd rather keep developing my board right now. Now the fact that he hasn't played his trick, instead of overcommitting, I think we'll just develop our hand a bit. I really don't want to get out-tempoed by spending my whole turn for him to just invalidate it with a single piece of removal. And we're in a strong spot right now. Plus also drawing. That gives us the extra piece of power that we wouldn't have had the opportunity of drawing into, because that would have been our next draw step. I wonder what he's holding on to so long. Either way, we'll keep developing and keep attacking. He's on a virtual 8 right now because we have the torch. So all we need to do is get 2 more attacks in and we'll be laughing. And again, I don't see any reason to have changed our plan that's worked so far. Make sure that we're not going to hit, we're not going to miss on our power drops from now on, which is important because we do have the expensive top end if he's somehow able to claw back into this game. That's rubbish. That's it's a real shame to be going down like that. Sorry, Meravec, I hope you have better luck in your future games, man. Yeah, I really wish I knew whether he mulliganed that hand or not. Either way, considering wins have been a little bit tough for me to come by, I'm happy to take it, so let's see how we go for the next match. I heard an interesting theory from a friend who hit Master in the previous season, in fact hit top 100, and I asked him what his secret to doing so well was, and he said, draft red. Okay, we need to expand this one a bit, find out the reasons why. And his rationale behind it is that you do get power screwed quite often in this game, and if either he or his opponent are going to get powered screwed, he wants to be the one who wins whenever that happens. And so the whole idea is by making sure that you draft a good aggressive deck, you're able to mitigate that. I'm a little nervous keeping this hand because we are desperate to be drawing one more power for this hand to work, but we have a turn 1 play that is very powerful, and we are on the draw, which means we get 2 looks. We actually get 3 whole looks before we're in trouble, so I think I'm happy to wait on that. And we're going to want to get us gates on. Seeing that means that this guy's playing a pretty slow, probably Elysian deck, so I want to put him under as much pressure as fast as I can. That makes me think he has a levitate. Okay, and that's good news. If he has a lightning strike, that's a little bit annoying. Okay, my heart skipped half a beat just then when I saw something come out of his hand, but it's good news that he's only digging. And so we have a pretty sweet sequence. Next time we're playing Sharpshooter. After that we could unlock Potential. Okay, so we were only able to get 1 war cry out of our guy, but it took one of his okay pieces of removal. It's worth noting that if he's played a static bolt here, he probably has more than 1, so I'll need to keep that in mind whenever he has 2 power open, that he could plausibly be doing a fair amount of damage into me. We'll just keep developing our board, try and get the most value we can out of unlock potential. I know that I'd like to be getting more aggressive, but there's not a lot we can do right now. Next turn my big choice will be whether I want to play Unlock Potential or just keep developing. I'll have the opportunity. Unlock Potential isn't a fast spell, which I need to be aware of. Okay, and so he's got the Paladin's Oath Book. Do I want to be taking 3 damage and him getting out of range for me? Although next turn he'll become a 4/7. As far as a pure race, I feel as though I'll be getting close to winning that race. I play a Zen and Guardian, he attacks him with a 4/7. I attack for another 6, so he's on 17, goes down to 11. Yeah, I'm comfortable with this. We just want to go as wide as possible. Because what we can also do later on is give one of our other units killer. But I feel as though I should still be actually the one on the beatdown despite him getting the Pally's Oath Book. that just means he'll be getting a lot of... he'll have the opportunity to get some damage in that will be annoying. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So he's held up 2, which means he could kill anything with 3 if I'm unlucky. If I cast the unlock potential now, everything becomes 4 power. And I could put the Predator's Instinct on my Ronin, allowing him to kill the Acolyte, and then everybody can attack him without risk of dying except for combat tricks. And I'll still get my Warcry. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do, and then next turn we can lock and reload. There is a risk here that if he has the second, what's it called, Static Bolt, I could have gotten in trouble there. But the upside was just too high. Now that we're attacking him for 8. Yep, so now we'll just be chump attacking for 12. So, that's it. Alrighty, Praxis for the win. Perhaps this should be an archetype. I don't think it will be until we get an expansion pack. There's no decent uncommons that support this kind of archetype, and that's the thing that I think really defines where the builds are, is when you get things like your film cards that are specifically designed to work with those colors. Instead, this is just if you happen to have strong time and strong fire and strong nothing else, then you look at this. Even though we could be going Oni Ronin into Oni Ronin and having a lot of fun, if we don't draw anything else, we're dead. So, a little bit sad to be throwing away such a strong start. Sadder now considering how rubbish this hand is, but it was the right decision. I can't be results oriented. On the bright side, we know that we're going to be getting up to whatever expensive cards we have. This is even particularly ugly because I don't have the second time, so I'm hoping to draw another time card in order to make my card draw spells worthwhile, which is not a good spot to be in, but there's no point lamenting about a hand that I wish was better. Oh, again, time really hurting now. If I could have played him, I would have been happy. But yeah, you know, whenever you play these games, you just need to play whatever hand you have as well as you can. Hero of the People is going to be a problem. Fortunately, we'll be able to kill it with the Stone Scar Maul. But, yeah, I don't want it to get too big. If they play things like the Battle Boy Centaur. Okay. That is interesting. So, if they have a Finest Hour, I'll be running in to death there. If they have a Torch, by playing my Katana, I'll be running into death. I could just wait, but I think that's playing into them. They could also have that rare that prevents all damage. So I need to work out what's worse for me. Either just running this guy in and having him trade for a combat trick, or potentially being torched when I play my Katana. I guess what I could also do is run him in. If they have a combat trick, he dies, play the Elite, and then the Katana either on this turn or next. Or I could just play the Katana now and see what happens. I don't recall there being a stop, so I think I might be playing around nothing. Yeah, there's definitely no stop here. And despite having a very weak first hand, we've been treated pretty well with being able to draw some of those guys. If he bricks again, then these will be brilliant. It might be that they'll quickly get outpowered here, and we have the choice of either just chump attacking in for the Warcry value or something like that, but this guy's going to represent a serious problem. If he ever gets up to becoming a 10-8, that's huge. And we're only 3 turns away from that happening. He's already a big enough problem as it is, which you can see by him being willing to trade there. I'm happy to offer up a trade. These guys are going to be getting redundant sooner or later. And I feel as though we can't really lose from here. Whatever he plays, we're probably going to be able to kill with our maul. Perhaps even if we're lucky doing some extra damage, and these guys will be the final 4. Yeah, I don't blame you either, man. Yeah, so we'll kill his bomb, which is a great exchange from our perspective. It's just the lack of time that's been hurting us here. And the fact that we flooded a fair amount. We do have a torch as a live draw. We also have the +1/+1 to all creatures that we control as a live draw. We have a fair few really dead draws, basically anything that's double time. And the other thing is, if we do manage to get a time sigil, which I think there's 9 in the deck, so we're looking at a 1 out of 3 of just drawing time on its own. So he's buying for time. And we got the draw that we needed. But we could have also caused problems with having Overwhelm and Killer, because whatever we killed would have done extra damage through. So yeah, this has been pretty compelling so far. It's one of the more series of convincing wins that I've had. Normally the wins are quite an arm wrestle, but our opponents just seem to have had power issues in each one of these matches. So we'll see what happens when we do get into a strong arm wrestle and they curve out like we do. So hopefully you'll join me back for the next series of videos as we continue on with this Praxis mid-range Frankensteinian deck. Cool. I'm Kozzi, drafting for Pick 1 Pack 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.